Welcome back to Raney Forecast. I'm just Raney. In honor of all of the hurricanes and tropical depressions that have been going on this week, I decided this would be the perfect time to have a short discussion on how hurricanes form. Personally, I think hurricanes are the coolest thing ever. This being said, I've been working on this show all week instead of my homework. Whoops. So, let's get started on our hurricane talk. Hurricanes begin as a tropical wave, which is a low-pressure area that moves through the warmer waters of the ocean. These can enhance thunderstorm activity, however, this does not always happen. No one has come up with a full recipe of ingredients to creating a hurricane. First, we need a pre-occurring weather disturbance, which, as I mentioned earlier, is a tropical wave. The second ingredient we must have is warm water, hence why many of these hurricanes form in the Gulf and the Atlantic Ocean. This water must be at least 26 degrees Celsius or roughly 80 degrees Fahrenheit in order to form. Third, we must have some type of thunderstorm activity. Why, some of you might ask? Well, thunderstorms turn the ocean's heat into the fuel on the fire for a hurricane. And last but not least, we must have a low wind shear, which for those of you who don't know what a wind shear is, it is the difference in wind speed or wind direction over a short period of time. If we have a large wind shear, this leads to the weakening of a hurricane. In order to have a hurricane develop, we must have these four main ingredients. Without one or the other, a hurricane will not form. However, even if we have all four ingredients, it doesn't always mean a hurricane will form. I know, weather is pretty weird. So, when is hurricane season, you might ask? That answer actually depends on where you live. In the Atlantic, we generally have a season that runs June 1st until the end of November. However, those of you who live near the eastern Pacific Ocean tend to have a little bit longer of a season, starting the beginning of May and ending the end of November. Now, let's talk a little bit about what you should do to stay safe if you're ever caught in a hurricane. The key to surviving major hurricanes is having a plan and being ready for the unexpected. Here are four things you should know before the hurricane hits. First, you should gather information about the storm. This means you should research and figure out how likely it is for your home to get struck by major storm surge, flooding, high winds, and other traumatic events. Second, plan and take action. This includes making a list of what you will do if the water, sewage, phone lines, and power stop working. How will you contact your family and tell them that you are safe? One of the most important things to do during this step is to create an emergency supply kit full of the essentials, such as some snacks, lots of water, flashlights, Band-Aids, medications, and anything else you think you might need. Third, evacuation. Consider your protection guidelines to help you decide if it would be better for your safety to stay and wait out the storm or to evacuate for the week. If you choose to wait out the storm, make sure you thoroughly wait it out. The eye of the storm does not mean it is over. In fact, sometimes this is when the storm becomes the most dangerous, due to the high risk of tornadoes and wind speeds picking back up unexpectedly. And last but not least, the recovery process. This tends to be the hardest step for most people. When you're in an area that is declared safe, make sure you remember that the recovery process is a gradual process. It will take time to restore your home. As much as I'd love to continue educating all of you on a hurricane, we actually ran out of time. But Don't you worry, I will be sure to do another hurricane forecast later this semester. As always, I'm Jess Raney, and thank you so much for tuning in on Raney Forecast. I hope everyone has an amazing week.